Prisoners, Sicario, Blade Runner 2049, Arrival, Dune Part 1, and now Dune Part 2. If Denis Villeneuve wasn't already in the conversation for one of the best directors of all time, he definitely is now. Hey everyone, I'm the guy with no name. Thanks for stopping by. So I started this channel in 2023, which means I missed Dune Part 1. It came out, I believe, 2021. Luckily, I did see it in theaters though. It was a great experience and I loved it, and ever since seeing the ending of that one, I was really looking forward to Dune Part 2. I'm super excited that they were able to greenlight the sequel and get it made, and it's gotten pushed back a few times. So the anticipation, I feel like, has been growing and growing, and really the question is, does it measure up? Dune Part 2 picks up basically right where Part 1 left off, with Paul Atreides and his mother still in hiding with the Fremen, while House Harkonnen has assumed control of Arrakis. Paul grapples with his want for revenge and with the whispers that he might be the Lisan al-Gaib, a Fremen messiah of sorts. The film, based on the second half of the novel Dune by Frank Herbert, is directed by Denis Villeneuve, who also co-wrote the script. It stars Timothée Chalamet as Paul Atreides, Zendaya as Chani, one of the Fremen Paul had dreams of in Part 1, Rebecca Ferguson as Paul's mother, Jessica, Stellan Skarsgård as Baron Harkonnen, Javier Bardem as Stilgar, the leader of the Fremen tribe introduced in Part 1, and Austin Butler as Fade Rotha, one of the nephews of Baron Harkonnen. Before we get into the positives, let's start with the negatives. Okay, no, honestly though, like maybe in subsequent viewings I'll be able to find more, but I really can only think of one negative that I have, and it feels to me like a nitpick. Dave Bautista feels kind of wasted in this movie. In the first one, he's an intimidating figure, and in this, he still looks as intimidating, but the way his character is, what he does, etc., he's just a lot less imposing. So that's literally the one thing I could think of. You can really tell that they told the story they wanted to tell, and they told it masterfully at that. Speaking of masterful, there is an argument to be made that this one and the first one are masterpieces. I'm not sure if I would go quite so far to say that, but they're really close to masterpieces, even if they don't maybe quite make it there. It's really well shot. The CGI is some of the best I've ever seen, and it's very expansive. In fact, if you can see it in theaters, definitely do that. I actually saw it in Dolby, and I highly recommend that, whether it's, IMAX, Dolby, XD, whatever you can see it in, the best quality, the biggest screen, the better. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the action as well. I thought it was really cool. It's a 2 hour and 45 minute movie, and if you've seen the first one, which by the way, just on a side note, that is like required viewing. You're probably not going to appreciate Dune Part 2 if you haven't seen Part 1. That they go hand in hand, and I mean, I can only imagine how confused you're gonna be and how it's probably not gonna be a good experience. So see Part 1. But anyways, it's kind of like Part 1 that there's action. There's more action in this one than in the first one, but there's still a lot of room for breathing, a lot of story, a lot of, dialogue. But whenever the action came, it was really well done and just enhanced the story. The acting is very good, by the way. Everyone plays their part very well. Timothée Chalamet does a great job as Paul Atreides. I did mention it in the cast, but Christopher Walken is the Emperor. And I remember when I heard about the casting, I thought that was very out of left field, and I wasn't sure how to feel about it, but he does a great job. He's not the stereotypical Christopher Walken. He's more subdued, so that's great. Also, the story was very good, very intriguing. It adds more depth to a story already with depth. Feels very lived in, the world and the universe, and it deals a lot of themes as well, like with faith and specifically with the prophecy. Is the prophecy about Paul? Is it a real prophecy, or was it fabricated? Some people think it's not even about him at all. So it's very interesting. So yeah, in case I wasn't clear, see Dune Part 2. It's pretty awesome. If you have seen Dune Part 1 and or Part 2, let me know in the comments and let me know what you thought of them. Am I gushing about them a little too much, or, you know, is it just about right? Also, I'd love to know if you've read Dune. I haven't. I'd love to know if it's a good, faithful adaptation or not. Also, if you like this video, like, subscribe, and check out my other stuff. There should be some videos on either side. But yeah, this is Guy with No Name, signing off.